Here we are, GladrapChannel at the Don Rowlands Centre. It's the 4th of May and we're at Lake Karapiro, proudly brought to you by Nigel, Elliot. Here I am with John the Rebel Conway, 168 fights, Australasian welterweight champ, Hong Kong champ and South Pacific welterweight champ, now trainer of champions himself. Welcome aboard, John the Rebel Conway.
Thanks, and thanks for having me down here. Beautiful setting, nice big lake out the front.
Home of the Waterhouse champs, and we're lucky to be here tonight with this star-stacked card here in Lake Karapiro. Here our first fight, Mitchell Waterhouse versus Mathew Sanders.
Mitch is the first one out. He's looking good, ready to go. Another Nigel Elliot show. He puts on good shows, Nigel.
Also in the corner there, just in centre ring, you can see legend Daniel Hennessy. Pretty popular MC across New Zealand and abroad, hosting a lot of the Joseph Parker fights. Nigel Elliot in corner there. This is going to be a star-studded lineup tonight. We've got a banger first up. Mitchell Waterhouse there in the red. And now we're going to be joined by Mathew Sanders there in the blue corner. Both boys wearing headgear. John, these are now compulsory as part of any amateur pro or more so undercard fights with the new rules and regulations?
Yeah, why not too? Safety first. These guys, you know, they're fit, strong, punch hard. If you get knocked down, hit your head on the canvas, it helps with that blow as well.
Were you a fan of the headgear back in the day, or you
preferred
never to really wear that at all?
Not back in the day, but I got used to it. And for corporate fighters, I think it's necessary.
Going through the formalities now, the introductions, the crowd's getting warmed up. We've got a busy crowd here tonight as we get ready now for round number one. 3 2-minute rounds, I understand from these rules.
Yep, Nigel having a first go at refereeing, so it's good to see. Dan Leaves, the voice of boxing, kickboxing.
He's one of the more synonymous MCs across New Zealand. He travels abroad and he's starting to get a bit of a name for himself and a familiar face. But here we go now for the action in round one. With these fights too, John, we sometimes see them coming out swinging, blow the gasket in the first round, but hopefully these guys can go the distance and put on a good fight first round up.
Yeah, they're quick sprint fights, 3 rounds, short rounds. Got a southpaw against an orthodox fighter, so they'll be stepping on each other's front foot.
The reach there too from Mitch, look at him, he's just pouring out those left and rights,
yeah,
keeping Mathew at bay.
Yeah, he's got to bring his jab back quicker. But on up, Blue's coming along strong.
Just as we talk about them being wild, look at Mathew Sanders there. He's a wild cat, isn't he? Just coming out, trying to take the head off.
No feeling out for him.
Oh, something looked like it just happened with the foot there. Maybe just a quick slip. It's always the thing too when you fight a taller fighter. You've got to just try getting. You've got to get in the pocket, and it looks like Mathew's trying to do that, and Mitchell's keeping it at bay. Did you find that too when you're fighting a long-rangey fighter?
Yeah, but once you get inside, you really got to go to work because that's your time to punch. Both fighters are starting off pretty strong though.
I like the style there from Mathew. He's just coming forward, but he has to. You know, there's no other way to play it when there's such a height difference. Nigel there looking intently, keeping the action on play. Yeah,
Mitchell wants to keep that jab popping though.
Another flurry of punches. The crowd are loving this tonight. Look at these guys go. I mean, we're only 1 minute in and 1 minute to go, and these guys are both firing.
Yeah.
Big left hook
big
there.
Left hook. That was a good punch.
And this is what we always ask for when, you know, the first... There's a bit of pressure, isn't there, on the first fight? You've got to come out blazing.
You've got to set the bar. These guys are putting the action in this fight. There's a good uppercut there by Sanders. Both boys are landing good punches.
You can sort of see from the style, too, that this is a first-time fight, or maybe they've only had a couple under the belt. But this is what it's all about, is getting in there and testing yourself, see how far you can go.
That's right.
Big straights there from Mathew Sanders. Another nice right overhand there from, but he keeps getting clipped, doesn't he, by those dangerous overhand shots from Sanders.
Yeah, Sanders should move in again once the punch lands.
Nice little finishing blow there from Mitchell Waterhouse. Hard one to call, but if I had to say, I would put that in the corner of blue, just for a couple more shots landed.
Yeah. I think Sanders landed the more telling blows.
You have Nika in the corner there, Josh Nika, brother of David, who David's just come back from some overseas battles and certainly creating a name for himself. But Josh had a pretty good record too on the come up. I heard he had very, very heavy hands and made it hard for anyone there in the ring.
Good instructions being said. I think he's telling his boy to keep the punches long and straight and hard.
You can see there too that headgear there. Looks like it's sort of just coming a little bit over the eye shadow or the vision there. So you might want to pull that up. And we're talking about headgear before. I mean, yes, it does protect, but I'm a little bit more against in some ways just because of the vision at times.
Yeah.
Getting ready now for round 2. Certainly a blazing round. Can these guys keep up the pace for round 2 and finish it on round 3?
Yep, here goes the bell. Whoa.
Just as you said, what he may have talked to him about in the corner, Mitch is coming forward with those straight right hands, left punches. But once again, Mathew Saunders cutting through that guard like butter. He's certainly headhunting and just trying to take the head off of Mitchell Waterhouse there in the red, even getting into a count now.
Yeah, one of those punches was pretty hard, so it's a good standing out count. Doesn't really reflect on the score too much. So it's all about safety first with these top of fights.
Good rushing there too from Nigel, looking out for the safety of the fighters. But Mitchell Waterhouse trying to keep this little terrier Mathew Saunders at bay. At times it's working, but you know, look at Mathew come through. He's certainly piercing through the guard of Mitchell Waterhouse and creating a few problems.
That could be Saunders' new nickname, the Terror.
You always love it when I'm talking to these guys first, because first-time fighters sometimes don't always have a name, but by the end of it, they've got a few.
That's right, yeah.
Nigel there, he's working for it tonight in this first fight. You know, this is these boys certainly living nothing for the road home.
Yeah, Mitchell really needs to start throwing punches as Saunders comes in.
See, Saunders is getting out of the way too. He's taking a few now there in the guard, but he's getting out of the way of these long shots. Good for a first-time fighter. Oh, big
another left hook, yeah. Yeah, Nigel just putting a standing 8 count, just make sure the fighter's okay, which he is. Good refereeing, and we're off again.
Like I said, the terror, Mathew Saunders, certainly making it hard for Mitch Waterhouse. But once again, this is a first-time fight for both boys. Getting there is always a pretty overwhelming experience, and both boys are doing a stellar job now for the end of round 2.
It is. It's a big challenge. There's nothing. You can spar as much as you want, but there's nothing more daunting than an actual real fight.
That's right, John. You know, under the bright lights, everything changes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Well, Saunders had a good finish to that round, but the whole round was good for him. Good action fight, this one.
You look, the terror there in blue, he's certainly coming through. Maybe he's learned a thing or two from trainer Josh. But, you know, aggression at times can win fights. You know, I'd like to see Mitchell come through with a few more pot shots, keeping it at bay, because he could win this fight with that reach. He
certainly can. He's got the physique, but he's got to use his physique in his favour. Long, straight punches right down the middle. He's got one more round to do it.
Wiping their sweat now. No blood just yet. You know, that's a good thing too about the headgear. It does keep you protected. But I just want to see him hopefully put it above those eyebrows, or hopefully, from what I can see too, it's not restricting that vision too much. Yeah. Gives him a slap in the head and says, come on, let's bring this home.
Yeah, the crowd's starting to enjoy this fight. As the fight goes on, the crowd gets a little bit noisier.
That's the thing, near the end of the night, we can barely hear ourselves. So Nigel now bringing them in, getting them ready for round 3. We've got 2 minutes to go, and what could only be described for some people as the longest 6 minutes of your life, right?
That's right, yep. Really want to see Mitchell just start teeing off now.
Look at these shots.
There goes the terror.
Matthew. He certainly is a terror. Oh, he's walking all over the ring, and Nigel's giving him another count. Is he going to call it?
There's another count.
That's the thing too, you know, they are landing, they are causing trouble, but Mitchell Waterhouse is not rocked, he's not falling over, they're just sort of wobbling him and stopping him.
Crowd really getting into this fight.
And what a first fight is, you know, we love this, what a performance too from both boys coming out blazing like they have, and we're only 1 minute down, 1 minute to go for the first fight, and it's been an absolute barn burner first up.
I think fatigue's starting to set into...
It's getting a bit wild now. It's looking like at times a bit of a cat fight, but they're both thrown. Oh, another little sneaky left overhand there to hit the head of Mitchell Waterhouse again.
Oh, the terror's been terrible to his opponent.
Oh, he's called it.
I think
He's called it. He's
That's
called
it,
it. And
yeah.
that's a good call there from Nigel Elliot.
Yeah, that's it. No one got hurt. That's the main thing.
When you're taking unanswered blows like that, you either hold your guard up, especially in these first-time
Yeah.
fights, or you call it off. John, you'd probably make a similar call, wouldn't you?
Yeah, if a fighter's lost and remains lost, you still got to stop the fight. Really. This is just a hobby and a part-time sport for them.
When we start getting to those pro fights, it changes a little bit, you know.
It does.
You see a bit of red, you see a few knockdowns, you've got to carry on until someone is really out. Here we go now for the official decision from Dan Hennessy and ref promoter Nigel Elliot. Both boys holding up hands. Exhibition fight.
Yeah, exhibition fight.
So both boys winners on the day.
Yeah.